Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the Death by Internet podcast, episode 25. I am your host, Phoenix Trinidad. It has been a long fucking time since I've done one of these. You may have noticed that if you listen to this podcast before, you may have noticed that I just fucking stopped putting episodes out because one of the long-running themes of this podcast is how lazy and inconsistent I am as a human being. There was a big gap in between this podcast and the last one. Actually, the last time I did one was with Bella Green, which I really liked, but that was in around November of 2018 or December of 2018, which was like 9 fucking months ago. So basically what happened is life, I moved cities. I moved to the city from Pakenham, where I was previously living. I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but I used to live in this house, like this share house, where the landlord also lived in the house, and she lived downstairs. And like the bottom, there was like this sunroom in the bottom floor, and it was basically converted into a giant bird cage. Like, so you'd go into like the kitchen, and there'd just be like these big glass doors that would lead to the sunroom, except it wasn't a sunroom. It was like just birds, just fucking birds, like giant parrots and like cockatiels and budgies and shit. I don't know why. Like that's like one of those things that you just sort of remember, and you're like, holy fuck, was that like a fever dream or some shit, or did that actually happen? I lived there for like 6 months. Anyway, so I moved out of there and I moved to Melbourne because I got a new job. And all of that started happening, and then I had a comedy festival show that I had to do, so the podcast kind of took the back seat. And by the way, a lot of people that went to my comedy show listen to this podcast, so thank you for coming out. And I have some news because this guest is that I have on this podcast for you now is actually the guy that I did my comedy festival show Gippy Boys with. Gavin Sempel. So earlier this year we did a comedy festival show called Gippy Boys. We split it. We did 20 minutes each. It was awesome. I think we sold out 5 of the 6 nights, and then there was one night that wasn't sold out, and it actually turned out to be one of my favorite nights because it was like a really nice, intimate crowd, and like everybody was like really into it. And one girl admitted that she liked getting choked, and she just happened to be with her whole group of friends and her boyfriend was hating life, which I found really, really enjoyable. He did not know that he was going to have to front up to that in front of his whole friendship group that night. So it was really cool, and me and Gavin had a really cool time. We don't actually talk about that in this podcast, but we really enjoyed that. So thanks for everyone that came out to that, and thanks to you for tuning back into this podcast, because I'm rebooting it. I'm doing a soft reboot. I really liked the episode that I did last with Bella Green, so I was like, oh, that was kind of like a new benchmark that I've set for myself. So now, so I decided that when I do start doing the podcast again, I have to, kind of stay on top of that quality or stay at that same level of the last one. So I decided that I'll do like a soft reboot, and I decided also that I'm going to add a new element to the podcast, which is video. So now whenever I do a podcast, I'll also be like video recording it. So if you go to youtube.com/deathbyinternet, you'll be able to see like a video version of the podcast. I think it'll be youtube.com/deathbyinternet. I actually haven't set the channel up as I'm saying this, and I just realized that now, because basically I'm a big fucking idiot. Given the nature of this podcast and how like fucking dumb I am when it comes to it, so this is the first time I recorded a video podcast with someone, and classic situation, I had 2 cameras set up, and the one that was focused on me just stopped recording after about 2 minutes. So I have 2 minutes of my face, and then the rest of the podcast is just going to be Gavin's face, which, lucky for you, Gavin is the most photogenic podcast guest in the world. That made no sense. He is the most photogenic comic ever. So that, lucky for you, the camera focused on him for the first half of the podcast, and then after like I had to split the podcast in half, and then the second half it's got both of us in there, which, you know, doesn't really matter. Most of people will probably be listening to this and not actually watching it. Now that I think about it, it's kind of weird that you would just sit and watch a podcast. Not many people actually do that, but hey, you know, soft reboot. Let's see how it goes. We're rebooting, all right? Death by Internet reboot, like Spider-Man. You know how we had like Peter Parker was played by Tobey Maguire, and then a couple of years later it was Andrew Garfield, and then a couple of years later it was Tom Holland, and now I guess it's going to be somebody else. Soft reboot. That's just, it's going to be a continuously evolving thing, this podcast. It's just going to change a little bit every now and then, but still keep that same level of shit quality throughout. Just little changes. Anyway, that's enough rambling. This intro is way too long already. Please enjoy this chat with my good friend and comedian, Mr. Gavin Sempel. Alright, ready to kick off?
Yeah, man.
Cool. Alright, Gavin Sempel, welcome to the Death by Internet podcast.
Thanks for having me, Phoenix.
For those that's... Okay, so this is the first time I've done this with video, and I wanted to kick it off by having the most photogenic comedian that I've but you're...
your whole lineup of comedians is the most least photogenic.
Yeah. But no, you're hot property at the moment, man. So, like, there's certain things that I wanted to bring up. So, Australia's Got Talent, right? So this is an internet-themed podcast. So
right.
You've hit 6 million views.
6.5.
6.5
as of yesterday.
On that fucking... That's fucking weird, right? Like, to know that... Okay, so you were talking about how the algorithm... works, like,
so it's not like YouTube where you can watch it yourself and it counts those views over and over.
Yeah.
Whereas with Facebook, it counts one view per account.
Yeah.
So I could watch it 20 times in a row, but it won't count more than a view.
Oh, really? Even if it's like one...
Yeah, so one view is per account.
So if it's the same person watching the same video 20 times,
it won't go up.
It doesn't.
It doesn't go up.
So it goes by individual.
Yeah, it's individual accounts, which is awesome.
That's crazy.
Because it should be the other way around. I reckon YouTube should be individual views, and then Facebook should be. YouTube. Yeah, YouTube should be like as many times as you want.
Yeah.
I know it is. Yeah.
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 No, but like when you break down 6.5 fucking million people, and this is just an audition, even though you would have... Did you actually audition? So so getting onto Australia's Got Talent.
So what you do is you apply online, you send footage of your act.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you've got a studio audition. You go into like a room where it's just like a producer, and then maybe like someone else. Luckily for me, it's funny because David Rose did a studio audition, but he had the producer and the camera woman. But when I went in, I had a producer, camera woman, someone working on the show, and even like a woman who was meant to just be doing cleaning and cooking came to watch.
So you had like an actual punter?
I had like a regular standard open mic crowd. I had 4 people. It's like, man, I'm killing right now. This is great. I got an audience.
Yeah. So you have to send a recording first, though. Is that an actual
so I just sent
of
him
set?
So I just sent him my raw set.
Yeah.
And then they're like, come in, and then I picked which jokes that I was going to do in the live audition, like the TV one, and I did those in front of them, and they filmed it so they can look back at everyone who auditioned, and then I did that. Then they called back and said, all right, your audition date is this.
Right.
So.
And that goes straight to the big show.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
So you pretty much go from the studio audition, which is the studio audition, like you're already, like as soon as you get the application finished and then you get the audition.
Yeah.
The studio audition is just to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And then when I did the actual audition, behind the scenes, they were like, so everything I brought up on the phone, I did like a half-hour interview on the phone, and everything I brought up on the phone and in the studio audition, they brought up and they picked which questions they want to ask for the TV.
Right.
So they, out of everything I spoke about in the two interviews, so when I'm talking to them, they picked which questions were the best ones fitted for the show, and then they pick which jokes.
Like just that level of control, though.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
Because I've heard of like, I think it's Just for Laughs or something. Like you have to send a transcript
Yeah.
of your
well, that's
act.
what we have to do in the next round.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. So the second round, so obviously everyone's seen your audition like you.
Yeah. So now the finals,
yeah.
which is all pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So the audition, we didn't have to send them jokes.
Yeah.
You just did whatever because
Yeah.
it's audition. You know, you get through or you don't. But with the semi-final, we actually one of the producers send us a transcript of all the jokes that you want to potentially do, and then we'll work with you and see which ones we reckon you can do. And then they were like, if you do this, followed by that, followed by that, followed by that. I was like, great, they're going to work out my jokes for me. So
That's crazy because like a joke, when you write it down compared to actually performing it,
Yeah.
it looks like a fucking.
I mean, in the end, I changed the lineup of the jokes because I was like, that's not going to flow.
right.
If there's one person who's going to know. And I spoke to the guy. There was a guy who had a comedy background working with me. So they had a dancer background working with the dancers.
So for each talent category,
they had someone
have somebody.
respective of that category.
Yeah.
And so this guy was helping me with my set. I was like, look, I understand you may think that this flows, but I've been doing these jokes for nearly a year consistently, so I feel it'll flow like this. And he's like, all right, do it like that. And then I did it in the semi-final. But they pretty much, obviously because it's TV, they don't want me to say jokes. I've got bits about autism and drugs and all that shit. And they were hesitant when I did the ice bit in the audition. They were like, oh, don't do that again.
Yeah, referencing meth.
Yeah. They were like, do not do that again. So,
oh, really?
Well, no, they hinted it. They're like, try and not do drug jokes. Try and pick on your dad or something like that. So they wanted more dad jokes about my dad.
Yeah, because the thing that a lot of my mates have seen it, and all they've commented on about is your
my dad.
how they
so
brought
many
your
people
dad
as
into
well.
it. Yeah.
Well, see, and I sort of said it to him. I said, I don't feel like you would have given me this opportunity if I didn't have my dad with me.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I did well or whatever, but that extra part with him coming, I was like, it's Gavin's dad and shit like that. That made it so much funnier.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that wasn't on purpose. He accidentally, so because people kept calling him Gavin's dad the whole day of the audition, he just went out and like, what's your name? He's like, Gavin's dad. You know, it wasn't him trying to joke around. He just said it instinctively because everyone kept calling him Gavin's dad. So because even right before we got on, Ricky Lee was like, Gavin's dad. Yeah. And he's like, I've got a name. Okay. The whole time he's getting the shits because they kept calling him Gavin's dad. So then when they said, what's your name? He said, Gavin's dad. And I looked at him, I was like, and they didn't put it in the cut. So after he said it, he says Gavin's dad, it shows the judges laughing. Then it cuts back to me laughing because I actually looked at him and I said, you moron. I looked right. I said, you, not into the mic, but I was like, you moron. You had one job. Yeah. And then that's why we start laughing when it cuts back to us because I looked at him. As soon as he said Gavin's dad, I was just like, are you serious? You had one job. All you had to say was Dave. One job.
Dave. So how did you find because the most entertaining bit for me, because your audition, whatever, I've seen you do your fucking jokes that
we
many
did a
times.
show together.
Yeah. But the
nights.
fucking the way they edited you in the the bit that goes before your actual audition.
Yeah. That's
so
crazy.
Did you know how they were gonna portray you?
So I knew I knew I was going to be the law school dropout because I was doing an interview. They're like, we'll practice the judges' questions. I was like, yeah, sure. And they're like, and one of the questions you'll see in the semi-final, in the next round. So they said, why do you want to do AJT? And I said, I want another platform for my comedy. Obviously being one of the biggest shows in the world even. And they're like, nah. Say that you dropped out of law school. And I was like, this feels like an attack. How did you find this out? I never told you shit. And you're telling me that I dropped out of uni. And then they're like, what would you do with the prize money? Yeah. And I was like, I would pay off a lot of my key fines. And they were like, nah, say you'll buy your dad a house. And it's in the semi-final, you see me say, I'm going to buy my dad a house with comedy money. Which is not what I want. Yeah, they wanted me to be like, oh, I'm going to help my dad out. And it's like, fuck my dad. I don't give a shit about my dad. He doesn't want my money either. As long as I pay that $150 a week rent, he doesn't care. Yeah. And I was like, it'd be a lot funnier if I say I've got a lot of fines to pay off. Because I do. And they're like, nah, don't say that. But all the stuff that you see whenever I'm not talking, I had no idea they'll film me. So
okay, so there's a shot of you
in the
hopping
coffin?
into a fucking coffin.
Yeah. So
and they have that creepy music behind you. Yeah, and I'm like, this is pure Gavin.
The guy in the orange hat, that's my brother, who's sitting there, who I keep walking up to, and I'm standing behind. Yeah. So what happened was we were sitting there, and they rolled the coffin in for one of the bands who auditioned, and I was like, "Do you reckon I could fit in that coffin?"
Yeah.
And then I did, and so what I did was I actually got in there, and the shot of me coming out is because it started to shake. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to break their coffin," so I came out of the coffin. So it shows me going in twice. I only went in once.
Yeah.
And then like when I had no idea they were, because I was mic'd up, but I didn't think they were listening in. And when I was like, I need to pee. That was genuine. Like, because I had to go for a tech run, and I was like, I'm just going to go pee first.
Yeah.
I had no idea that they were actually recording me saying that.
Yeah.
And then, which is a shame because I said so many fucked things. There was a guy, and I feel bad. There was a guy who was working sound.
Yeah.
And he was like bald. He had like no eyebrows, sort of. So like he was, and I was like, man, that guy, I looked at my dad and I was like, that guy looks like that villain from Gotham, that real bold villain from Gotham and from Flash. I was like, he looks like that bold guy. And the guy looked at me and I was like, nah, he clearly didn't hear. But then it turns out he was listening the whole time and to everyone. And like he was focused on me.
Yeah,
so he was the person
so
in
they
charge.
assign like things just follow.
Yeah, so he could hear everything that me and my dad and Stu Walker was saying. So like in our area, our vicinity. So when I was saying that and he was looking at us in that direction, I thought, he's just looking at us, because he's working in that area. But he was listening to me call him this chemo patient villain from The Flash.
But that's that happens. Like I do videography as my job, and like sometimes we'll have to like stick a mic on somebody and like just in case they go up on stage and do a presentation and stuff. But we have to mic them up and leave the mic on them the whole day. Yeah. And like sometimes you just want to like hit record just to see, because they put it on and then they just forget about it. Yeah. And then they go around and mingle with like.
So if they heard whatever I was saying backstage. Yeah. Because I was just like, at one point I was like, this is ridiculous. I got there at 10. I didn't get on till 10, and I was sitting there and it's like, I got mic'd up when the show started, and they're like, we'll get you mic'd up. You'll do your interview with Ricky Lee. I didn't end up doing my interview with Ricky Lee till right before, as I'm going on, as you see. I was meant to do it well before. Yeah. God, she's hot. Yeah, she is.
Is she amazing in person? I fell in love with her when she was in Australian Idol.
She was very nice in person, but she's... I'm not going to say less ladylike, but there was a moment when Manu... was like, I need to go to the toilet, and he left the judge's seat and had to come past through us and then go around to the toilets. And she's like, where are you going, Manu? He's like, I just need to go to the bathroom. She's like, you're going to the shitter. And I was like, whoa, that just came from... I was like,
you're not Ricky Lee.
You're definitely from the Gold Coast, Ricky Lee. Like, no doubt in my mind that you still live in the Gold Coast. But yeah, so I had to like mic up, and then I was backstage and like even upstairs in the waiting room. Like it was a different waiting room than they show. It's like just a bar. You're just sitting in a bar, and for ages I'm sitting there going, man, this is ridiculous. I just want to get on. I'm not nervous. I just want to get onto that stage and perform. And I was like, this is fucking annoying. And I was like, oh. And then my dad's like, dude, you still got the mic on. I was like, oh no, I hope they're not listening in right now. I was like, I'm sorry if you're listening. I'm just angry. I'm just tired.
I wouldn't mind that though too, like having just like, it's like having a little companion with you all the time. Yeah. Like if you just like...
Well, see, I was annoying them so many times when they were recording. I was just talking right into the mic.
Oh, imagine having that job, like being the guy that has to just like listen to some cunt talk all fucking day.
Oh, that's that's probably what lost his hair and eyebrows. He probably, before he started working for Fremantle, he probably had a mullet.
I want to know more about Ricky Lee. Like, just because, like, on TV, like, whenever you see her, she's so wholesome and stuff. Yeah. But then, like, so, you know, when you see people out of context, so, like...
Ricky, you hardly see.
Yeah, true.
The only... with the audition, I mean, I'd seen her more in the semi-final because we had to do tech rehearsals and dress rehearsals, and she had to be there for that because she obviously talks to the TV screen. But the judges weren't there for that. So... in the audition, you never see anyone. So we seen all the judges when they were coming into the building. They were coming from their dressing rooms. Yeah. And which is actually funny because they were coming through and my dad looked at Manu and goes, oh, g'day, Pete. He called him Pete and not Manu. And then me, my dad, and a couple other acts were like, that's Manu. He's like, oh, Manu. And Manu turned around, I was like, who's this fuck? You know, like this guy just standing here in jeans
Gavin's
in this hallway. Yeah. And then obviously you've seen him later on. Yeah. But yeah, you don't see Ricky Lee until you're speaking to them, and you don't see the judges until you're on the stage. But the semi-final, we actually hung out after the show for a bit.
Okay.
So like before, when I did the
It's a smaller group of people.
yeah, for sure. So so with the dress rehearsal, Ricky was there, and I remember I was rehearsing, which you can't rehearse comedy.
Yeah.
And
Right. So you had to like go on stage and run through the whole thing.
I had to go on stage and do my set 2 to 3 times every rehearsal.
Ooh.
And I'd do sometimes 2 rehearsals a day, and we did rehearsals for 3 consecutive days. So 2 days before and then the day of the show, we had to do rehearsals, and you're doing your set over and over.
I would hate that.
And I swore, because at the point I was like, I know my jokes are going to work. So I was just like sort of just riffing on the stage. And I picked on one of the producers, Bethany, which was a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I screwed up the joke. I said, I was like, oh, fuck, I hope I don't. And I actually swore, I said, oh, fuck, I hope I don't screw it up when I'm on the stage.
Yeah.
And then I heard someone chuckle from behind, and it was Ricky Lee. She was standing behind there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, when the fuck did Ricky Lee get here? And I said that, and they were like, Gavin, can you please promise you're not going to swear on the stage? And I said, no, I'm getting that now, because in a couple of hours' time, I'm not going to obviously swear on national television. But when I said, I was like, when the fuck did Ricky Lee get here? And then Ricky Lee comes out laughing. She walks out cracking up laughing. And then it was funny because when I was on stage doing the semi-final, I could see her waiting to come out. It's like she was at the side. I saw like the audition. She was like standing on that angle, and I seen her and she was cracking up laughing. And then after the show finished, everyone except for Nicole and a special guest judge, who I'm not allowed to say, came onto the stage. Like the special guest left, and Nicole, green room straight away. She had her own green room.
Right. She's like,
which
she's
is fair
a
enough,
pussycat
though.
doll.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Wait, so who are the judges? Because I like. So you got Nicole showing up.
A lot of confidence in our fans here. So it's Nicole, Lucy Durack, Manu, and Shane Jacobson.
Okay, who's the middle one? Lucy who?
Lucy Durack.
Who's that?
She's from Wicked, and she's got a couple of Netflix shows. So she's on Sisters and another show that I still haven't even seen. I only knew her from Wicked. Like as soon as I seen her, I was like, "Oh, you're from Wicked."
Deserves to be there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's very talented. But yeah, they came onto the stage, and so like as soon as the show finished, Ricky Lee was like, "Oh, that was so funny," to me, and she's like, "Oh, you know, congrats, you know, you did well and whatever." And then we're talking, and there was one of the acts were crying because they didn't get through. Spoiler alert! I'm not going to tell you who it was. And then like Manu came up, so I picked on Manu.
Yeah.
In the second round, which I hope they
Like
put in the cut
after your set.
Yeah. So when the Ricky Lee's like
The feedback.
yeah,
portion.
I gave him. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I said, but I give him shit. He comes up. So yeah, like after the show, you're sitting there talking to him, and like Lucy actually followed me on Instagram after my audition.
Yeah.
So she came up and we had a chat for a bit, and then Shane obviously, but Shane was like really nice.
Well, doesn't he? He's not a comedian.
Well, he was when he first started.
Yeah, and he's like acting.
And now he's an actor.
Yeah.
But like afterwards, he's like, "Man, you are so good. You know, Lucy told me to follow you on Instagram, so I followed you on Instagram. You know, I'm gonna keep in touch. I'll keep updated with your journey, and you'll stay in touch and all that." And I was like, "Man," he's like, "I want to see more of you perform and blah blah blah." So yeah, he was like really nice, and like Lucy was really nice, but everyone else, nah. Once the cameras aren't rolling, I don't give 2 shits.
Yeah.
Like, nice people, but... I mean, to be fair, Nicole is bigger than the show, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. When was the last time fucking Pussycat Dolls released a single? I haven't
I mean...
seen anything
they
from them.
Peaked pretty early. Yeah. But 2005.
So that your first audition clip is, like, blown up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Have you... So, this is an internet podcast, so have you read the comments?
I read all the comments.
Do you like? Is that?
I love it.
So that's got to be so bad for you. Like, do you read the comments?
Well, see, a lot of people say don't read comments because the negative ones can hurt.
Yeah,
I fucking love the negative comments. And what I started doing, I got annoyed because like I got bored of doing it. But what I was doing is I was laugh reacting every negative comment.
Yeah,
and then commenting a GIF of Captain America from the first one when he's skinny, just looking up
Yeah,
After
yeah.
he's like catches the grenade.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that. I was putting different gifs and whatever. And there was this one guy who was like, oh, he's this talentless fuck from Victoria. And that
was me.
Oh yeah. It was Phoenix, Trinidad. It was like this random old guy from like Adelaide or whatever.
Did he have a car in his display picture? Or?
No, it's just like your screen capture on your thing. So
just
like it's like he just learned how to take a selfie.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like also
That's like my dad's
works
profile
perfectly
picture.
for like a Channel 7 mugshot.
Oh, okay, yeah. Beautiful.
So like
beautiful.
Yeah, and he commented, he's like, talentless fuck, and I said thank you very much to the guy. He's like fuck you weren't even funny. And so I was like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then another person was like, not even funny. I said, I can't wait to show you the second round. So I was just trolling them.
Yeah, just
And
bit
it's
like
so
hit him
much
with the
fun.
positivity.
Yeah, because like comedy, obviously, you're gonna have people not finding it funny. That's the aim of the game. You can't make everyone laugh.
Yeah.
So I think I didn't care about. I hated the people. I didn't hate people messaging me or commenting. Or a lot of people sent me friends requests. But what I was doing is I'll accept it, invite them to my page, unfriend them. Get the numbers, man. Get the numbers. I don't want someone from like North Queensland as a friend. And they actually had a
Really
few
related
people.
to that Nicolas Cage joke.
Yeah. We all
Want
are
to be
on
your
ice.
friend.
We are all on ice.
Yeah.
But this one woman, she sent a screenshot of me on stage, and she's like, "Oh, you were very funny." I said, "Thank you very much." And then she's like, "I'm also single." I was like, "No, no way." Blocked straight up. And then like a girl who I went to school with, I don't know if I should. No, her name's Shannon. Screw her. She was a weirdo in high school. She's a weirdo now, and she sent me a screenshot she sent me a photo that she took of her phone of her TV. Now I know she didn't watch it live because she paused the recording on Foxtel.
Yeah.
So she obviously went on to pause it just to take a photo and say, "I'm watching you on TV." And I was like, "That's fine. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy it." Blah blah blah. Just you got to be nice to them. You can't be like fuck off or just ignore them, because sometimes you ignore them, they keep messaging. And so I said, "Oh, nice." And she's like, "What are you up to?" I said, "Oh, I don't want a conversation." But I was like, "Just at a gig, can't really talk." And she's like, "Oh, I'm watching AJT." And I was like, "Yeah, you already said that." And then she's like, "I'm watching it with my son." And she's my age. And then she sends a photo of her with her son. I was like, and so I messaged like, "That's not mine, is it?" And then I was like, actually, no, I'm blocking her. She's weird, man.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I love the negative comments more than a positive.
Yeah.
I hate people. It's one thing I don't like is people saying, "Keep up the good work." I've got a gig tomorrow.
You don't like positive reinforcement.
It's not like
at
it's
all.
my first ever gig.
Yeah.
If it was, I'd be pretty fucking good as a first ever gig. But I can understand them going, "Keep up the good work, keep doing comedy, do what you do." But I'm gonna.
Yeah.
That's like it's hearing someone sing and go, "Oh man, keep doing what you're doing." It's like,
Yeah, because there's no follow up to that. Like if you crushed it at a gig and people come up to you and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, you were really good," and you're like, "Thanks," and then the conversation's
it was
over.
funny though. Everyone in the audition and everyone in my semi-final, I'm the only one that did not travel overseas. In my semi-final, I was the only one who didn't go overseas to perform.
What do you mean?
So there's a Daredevil who like risks his
Oh,
life.
so they're not even from Australia.
No, they're Australian, but they're an overseas act.
Oh,
So like, there's a singer who performs like in like Samoa, New Zealand, or whatever. She has like heaps of followers on Instagram.
right, and they.
Another kid was on Ellen, the guitarist.
Oh, okay.
But he wasn't in my semi-final, but he has like 47,000 followers
Yeah.
on Instagram. But then in my semi-final was like a international dog act. Just people who are very good at what they do, and I perform at open mics every night.
Yeah,
And I'm on their level.
yeah.
But I'm not though, which is weird.
It's weird though because it's like it's a TV show, which is a weird format anyway.
Yeah.
Like, and then so they're sort of just collating like the top people on Instagram or like the top people in that art.
And if
form
you
that
go
wanna
on
be
the
it.
Australia's Got Talent Instagram page, they're following only the younger, more sellable
right, yeah,
acts, like
it's
a
TV
Polo
show.
from Bachelorette who did the
Yeah.
Death Defying act. And like I think that was the only depressing part of the show.
Yeah.
Was watching you do comedy and you go so well, but then everyone's doing way better acts like singing and getting
Yeah.
the golden buzzer.
Yeah, the little
But-
backflips and
But
shit.
I'm getting the most views.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of annoying. Like, obviously, I don't have the most views. The most views is that guy from like from Asia doing like the log on fire, which is like nearly
Right.
30 million views.
Yeah.
And then a guy doing the bike's like 10, and then I'm nearly 7. So like,
Yeah.
it's weird that everyone hasn't even cracked 1 million views, but they're the ones who you're jealous of.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, it's like they're getting so much traction. Everyone loves them, and the judges are posting about them on their personal pages. And I was like, yeah, but I'm fucking good.
Yeah, but like, I think it's because everyone's seen somebody do a fucking backflip or sing well
Or
and
sing,
stuff.
yeah.
But comedy is always sort of
Which is
new.
why
Like,
I'm
it's got to be
kinda-
it's got to be fresh.
Yeah, which is why I'm kind of glad that it's gone viral.
Yeah.
Rather than attention from the network and from the judges. I'm
Yeah.
glad that it's got attention from Australia.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like because that's all it is. Like you don't really give a fuck whether you win
Oh
or
no!
not.
And I
It's
said
just
that to the
to elevate your
producers.
profile.
And I say it to people now. I said, man, I don't like people come up to me.
Yeah.
In public. I don't want people to, if it does go viral, if it does after the next round and future rounds, I don't want people to come up and be like, oh, you were on Australia's Got Talent.
Yeah.
I want people to like my page and come to a show. You
Yeah.
know? Like I don't want.
You don't want to be known as the Australia's Got Talent guy. You want
Yeah,
to be
I don't want to be someone
a
who
comedian.
I don't want someone to come up to me and ask for a photo.
Yeah.
I want them to buy a ticket. You know.
Yeah.
I want to turn it like I'm obviously doing this for a career.
Yeah.
You know, I want to turn comedy into a job. So like I'm obviously the fame that comes with it, like being on TV, that's everyone's dream. But
Yeah. Yeah.
fuck, I want to make money from it.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna come back
Yeah.
to this just because there's a camera thing that
They're about
happens.
to
So
end.
yeah, let's take a quick break and we'll be back with Gavin Sempel.
at Hungry Jack's. I've hit so many people with a milk crate just because they sat on the other milk crate.
Yeah, yeah, it's they're valuable, especially because I used to work in
Oh yeah,
hospital.
for sure.
Yeah,
I've beaten.
especially like smokers and stuff.
We made
'cause you
like
go out the back.
We
and-
made like a throne out of milk crates.
yeah. Did you
Yeah.
do any fucking work when you actually worked?
No, I didn't actually. I was a team leader. I made everyone else do the work. When I was closing, I made everyone clean. And I just watched.
Okay, so what were we talking about? We were talking before the break. AGT.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we kind of covered most of it. Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
just watch it.
So, but they made your narrative as like the guy that quit,
My shtick was the
quit law school.
dropout.
So okay, were you actually that serious about law school before you started doing
Yeah,
comedy?
man. For
Yeah,
sure.
really?
Because I did legal in high school, and I got like a 44
Is that
out of 50.
oh study
Yeah, study
score?
score,
Fuck,
yeah.
I remember. I forgot
Yeah.
about all
I
that
got,
shit.
I got a 44, and I got a 41 in English,
Yeah,
and then like a 22 in maths.
yeah,
So English and law were the only ones I was good at growing up.
yeah.
And PE, I did good in PE.
Sure.
Sorry?
Sure.
No, I did. I was fucking good, man.
I was
I got like a 39 in PE. Fuck you. And out the red, I got 37.
oh yeah, the theory side.
No, in general, man. Fuck you, man. I was fit.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was talking about the beep test the other night. And I'm like,
man.
I think I avoided it every single
was your
time.
beep
I just
test?
got out of it. No, I never did it.
I think I got like 10.6 once.
10.6.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The highest
Well,
in my class was like 12, which was a guy
Yeah.
named Cody Orgill, who's like a marathon runner now.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I think I would run them, and then because my PE teachers knew that I was never gonna fucking actually try.
Fuck, I'd like to see
the
you do a
beep
beep test.
Man, I went to I got to 4, and then I'm like, all right, this is where I'm leaving.
I'm gonna stop before I say anything racist.
That's a pretty good way to live life, I think.
Yeah. Apparently, you can't be racist.
No.
It's kind of
So quitting how far did you get?
a year in.
You actually got a year in.
So I
thought
went
you were
a full year,
2 weeks.
and I was like, no way. Yeah, 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck am I doing? These lectures, I have to rock up on my own time. No, I went a full year, and then I only just passed. I got like 62%. But I was like, C's get degrees.
Yeah. So did you quit or did you fucking flunk
Dude,
out?
I just like fucking no. I was probably around. I got like my average was about 68.
Yeah.
On my sacks and assignments, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I just was done, and it was so easy to quit.
Yeah.
I just went onto the portal and just de-enrolled.
Yeah.
And it took 5 minutes.
Quitting is so underrated.
Because I remember before I did that, like a week before that, I was sick and tired of this one course I was doing, this one subject. And I just went, nah. And just de-enrolled from a fucking course. And I knew that in the next trimester, I would have had to pick up an extra course or do a course with more points.
Yeah.
But I was just so quick. I was like, gone. And I was like, I have so much power right now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Actually, gone the whole thing. And I
Yeah.
just went home that day. And I was like, Mum, Dad, I'm not doing law. Mum was like, okay.
How good does it feel?
And
though,
then
to
Dad
just,
was like, you
it's just a wave of
motherfucker.
relief.
Oh, it was so...
Just
and then
quitting
the fact
shit?
that because I still worked.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was working when I was at uni. So I was just... Still had money.
Yeah.
And actually, for the next month after quitting, I was still getting settling. I was still declaring settling, like student
Yeah.
payment,
Yeah.
student allowance.
Did you bring up it? Does that cause you to go into debt? Because I once accepted, you know how they give you the scholarships at the start of the year, which is like $1,000
I'll
from
have to
settling.
pay HEX.
Yeah, no. I mean, so when I was
settling? No.
yeah.
No,
Okay, because when I was at Centrelink,
because
right?
I met the requirement to get government funding.
Yeah, so they gave me like $3,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
And because they thought that I was a full-time student, but I wasn't actually. I wasn't
Once
doing
again,
the
this
part
is
out.
going to get real racist
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Get fucked. No, but I was just
Look, man,
too
some of
stupid.
us were born here.
I fucking earned it, man. I was
Yeah,
fucking
you
born here. I was
fucking-
born
yeah.
in fucking
You had-
Moe.
you had
I
to-
was born in Moe. I
had
should have
to
been getting
work.
settling since I was fucking.
You had to
The
work.
moment I come out of my mum's pussy.
I get it. I'm white. I get it, Phoenix. I get it.
Yeah, but anyway, so I got $3,000 or $2,000 or something from Centrelink at the
That's
start
crazy.
of the year.
I got
and
nothing.
then I just spent it because I was like, oh yeah, free money, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I got a notification
That's so dumb.
6 weeks later saying, oh, actually, you don't qualify for this. You're gonna have to pay it all back.
That's
And I was like,
crazy.
that's all gone, man. I was like, I had a girlfriend
Yeah.
at the time. I was like, oh yeah, we'll go to the city for Valentine's Day. Paid for a hotel.
Oh.
I bought a fucking
Is that the same?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
girlfriend. And then I bought like an Asus tablet, like like an iPad, and I'm like, this is fucking free money for the government. Why not?
You're walking into the school with
Yeah.
fucking TN shoes. You're like, I'm a
the
baller.
gold chain.
Yeah.
Oh man, so good.
But deep down, you're broke
I've
as
never
fuck.
I've never not been in debt.
that's so funny.
Yeah. Okay. So, you're how old are you?
21.
You're 21.
I am.
You're an adult man.
I am.
You like wrestling.
I do.
Can you fucking explain to me how
Good is it? Oh, easily. man.
Okay,
I get-
no, but okay, I get it. But you know that wrestling, I don't
fake.
want to do the Santa Claus thing.
No, it's
but you know
fake.
that,
Yeah.
okay, you know that wrestling is
For
fake.
sure.
though.
It's scripted. It's not fake.
Okay, it's script. Yeah. So they actually do the flips and shit.
Yeah, they're hitting each other.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's scripted.
They're
So
not really hitting each other.
majority of the time they are, man.
they're making contact.
So
Because they do
they're-
like the back slap
so
thing.
The simple hits, like when they're going to punch, they're not. But when they're jumping off like turnbuckles and off the ropes, and when they're doing like proper moves and shit, they got to put
Yeah.
themselves in the position, and which hurts them.
Yeah.
Obviously, like one of my favorites, Kofi Kingston. He kicks someone in the head, and he
Right.
actually kicks them in the head.
Yeah. So he make his foot.
Yeah,
Makes
but
contact with their head.
they do have padding in their boots.
Oh, really?
So
Like at the
whenever you see
bottom
a
of their
wrestler with the
boot.
shins, that's all padding.
With the shit.
So they'll wear like the underwear and then like the boots with the shins that come up. That's because it's padded. So when they kick him, with the shin, they're not kicking on with the bone into the head.
Yeah, that makes
it
sense.
still
'cause they
fucking
all,
hurts.
Like that's why they all dress like they're in some fucking BDSM.
Yeah, so
porn
it's
film.
it's because it's all padded and their shoes are padded. Like on the bottom of their shoes are padded for when they're stomping on their fingers, on their head or whatever. It hurts, but it's not going to hurt as much.
It's not as bad. Yeah, it's just like wearing
So
headgear.
everything they do is real.
Yeah.
But it's scripted, so they go into the wrestling ring knowing who's going to win.
Yeah. Okay. But why? Why? Like what do you?
It's entertaining, man.
Okay, so
it's like,
like-
why do people watch Game of Thrones? You know it's fake.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's like not real dragons or whatever, but like it's the thing too.
Yeah, man. You ever see a dragon outside? Fuck, how'd they get that in there?
You'd be
Harry
surprised,
Potter,
yeah.
they brought all four of them in. That's crazy.
But they fucking
Like,
like
yeah, I know it's fake.
Yeah, but you like the storylines.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun to watch.
And the acting.
Oh, the acting's terrible. I don't watch it for the acting. The acting's fucking horrendous.
But that is what's driving the fucking.
But no, I just like because obviously I watched it as a kid, and as a kid you think it's real.
I watched it as a kid. Yeah,
Everyone watched it as a kid. I think it's compulsory to watch wrestling as a kid.
Yeah, people. I don't trust people that didn't watch wrestling as a kid. Like, didn't enjoy it.
They probably like told their parents Santa wasn't real.
Yeah,
those type of kids.
Yeah, okay, that's weird.
But like, but they probably did, man. They probably like, yeah, I know John Cena doesn't, but also you bought this DS, you know, like probably. Yeah. But like as a kid, I watched it, and I actually got back into it only 2 years ago, probably like a year and a half ago. So like, probably like January, February last year.
Okay.
I remember I was just sitting in the lounge room, and it came up on TV. It was like because it's on late, but I watch it online now, so I'm not missing out.
You watch it online.
So like when it's on Channel 9,
like a subscription to something?
No, I just stream it. It's like a wrestling.
On like Fox, as part of like your Foxtel or whatever.
No, so there's a website where you can watch every episode.
Okay.
Every day it comes out.
Yeah.
So because like on TV you only get like half of it.
Yeah.
It's like an hour show, but you can watch the whole 2 hours online.
Oh, right.
And I remember Channel 9 had it on at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And that's also why I watch it now online, because I'm not waiting till 1 o'clock to watch it. And I was like, oh man, this is great. And then I just, for some reason, felt good watching it. It just brought back memories. And now I just watch it, I was like, this is entertaining. And when you go watch it live, it's like, this is entertaining. It's just fun to watch.
So do you think it's because nostalgia is pretty powerful as like...
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, look at what's happening with Disney and shit. Like, is it mostly nostalgia, or do you actually enjoy the...
Well, it's a bit of both, man. Whenever
I
watch it, and now that there's still wrestlers from my child, like Rey Mysterio is still going. Undertaker's still going.
Didn't he accidentally kill somebody or something? Like
Eddie Guerrero, didn't he? Oh, no, Eddie Guerrero died out. No, he did. He didn't kill somebody. He
hit someone and then they died or something.
They died in hospital.
Yeah, because I've seen... no, I think he died in the... Like, because I saw like a...
No, he didn't die in the ring.
Oh, okay.
He was taken to hospital and he died on the way to hospital.
Yeah, see, that's brutal. Like, because there are stuff like that. So, I was at dinner with a friend of mine and her partner, and I was trying to explain, like, so the kayfabe.
Yeah.
So, this is how I understand it, right? So, kayfabe is like the word for the fictionalized story that's happening, right?
Yeah.
Or like I don't know how to explain it, but then like if shit happens in real life that actually affects the wrestlers, they have to write that into...
Yeah, well, see, Roman Reigns got leukemia.
Like, yeah, he actually got leukemia?
Yeah, he had cancer, and they wrote that, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
Because you had wrestlers go... Because there was the Shield, which was the trio of Roman Reigns and a couple others. They were their pack.
Yeah.
And... You try not to laugh, man. Fuck you, man. Don't you disrespect the Shield, man.
Goofy.
The Shield, one for all. Anyway, so like when he came out and he's like, I've got like my leukemia. I've been having leukemia for the last 11 years and it's come back. And so he had to like step down and like he had to like relinquish his title, which they ended up like writing someone else to be the Universal Champion a few months later.
Yeah.
But so when he came out, I was like, oh man, that sucks. And two of the people who's the Shield, they obviously broke down. They started crying when he like on the stage with him not the stage, the ring when he announced it. And then later on, like an episode later, whatever, they made one of them turn heel, which is when they become the bad guy. Yeah. They write him to be the bad one, and after he was heel, they would like write for him to go, you know. Roman quit with his cancer and shit like that. I was like, whoa, that's a bit harsh, you know? Like, why are they writing him to... Like, it's obviously not off the cuff. He would never speak about that against, like, one of his best mates.
Yeah.
So they obviously... And he recently, because he just left WWE to go into AEW, which is a more realistic wrestling. It's, like, less televised because it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And he, in an interview, was like, they made me talk about, you know, Joe, which is Roman's real name. He's like, they made me talk about Joe's cancer and I hated it.
Yeah.
So, like, they obviously don't write... Like, the wrestlers aren't saying it.
Right.
Or sometimes they do break the script. There was a recent episode where a wrestler broke script and they had to cut his mic.
Right.
Because, like, he was like, I'm sick and tired of, you know, you, the boss, you know, writing yourself. And then as soon as he said writing yourself into it, they cut his mic.
So there's little
and he was like suspended and fined and shit like that. Yeah, so he just snapped because he got in like a brawl outside the episode. in the car
but was
park
that
with
part
another
of
wrestler.
the episode? Because there's this weird sort of like
But it
melding
wasn't
of-
meant to be. So like they
Yeah.
were meant to fight in the main event that episode.
Yeah.
And they trash talked, and he's like, "I'm sick and fucking tired of you being put as this, showstopper or whatever." And then he punched him in the face in the car park.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, "You need to go. You can't. You're done for the night. Don't
Yeah.
even bother coming in." And then he ran in. He's like, "I'm fucking sick and tired of this whole industry treating me like this, and you writing yourself into the match." And as soon as he started talking, they cut his mic, and he grabbed another mic. He's like, "No, you can't cut." And they cut it, and then security
Just
and they
keeps grabbing microphone.
No, he took the commentator's mic and was like just screaming into that. And it was soft, and he was just screaming. And
Yeah.
they kicked him out from the show, and they suspended him and
Right.
shit like that. So that sort of stuff is what I like when it gets like full on.
When it breaks the
Yeah.
because you
'Cause
have
they
to
did not
write
plan for that.
reality into the actual
Yeah.
thing. Because I think it was like a Radio Lab podcast about it.
Yeah.
Where like somebody like Vince McMahon got into a fight with some wrestler backstage or whatever.
Yeah.
And like he actually broke Vince McMahon's nose, and then they had to write that into the
Yeah, well, Kofi Kingston fucking king hit Vince McMahon off camera.
that it might have been that
He was
then-
sick and tired of because Kofi Kingston was like feuding with Randy Orton back in like 2009 or whatever.
Right.
And for some reason, Randy Orton, with his dad working in WWE, had an influence. He's like, Kofi's nowhere near my ability.
Okay.
And so Kofi was dropped from the main card.
Like nowhere near his ability at
So he
like,
was dropped from
fake fighting.
So like to draw in a crowd.
Okay, right. Yeah.
And so he was upset about
They
that.
sound like comics.
yeah. And so he was dropped to the mid card, so he wasn't on the show, so he wasn't earning as much as everyone else, and he had a
Right.
family and whatever. And he walked in, and he abused him, and he punched the boss.
Man.
And
And then you have to write that into like the next.
No, they didn't
episode.
write it all. No one ever. They never actually mentioned it
Oh, okay.
in the show, but it happened backstage.
Yeah.
I remember there was a wrestling match when Eddie Guerrero was before he passed away. It was
Yeah.
like custody battle. So like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio fought in a ladder match, and the winner got custody of Dominic, which is realistically like outside of wrestling Rey Mysterio's son. But
What?
so there was a ladder match. So Dominic, they wrote a storyline. Dominic is Rey Mysterio's son
Okay.
biologically. But they wrote a storyline to Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio's partner, sort of like,
Yeah.
and they were like, "It's my son." He's like, "No, it's my son." So they had like
So they were fighting
They had a
over
ladder
who
match
the
at
dad- maybe daddy
SummerSlam,
was.
and the winner got custody of the kid.
Yeah. And that
But
was
Ray won, obviously, because like it's his
He's
kid.
his actual-
But the concept of a custody match.
custody.
And yeah, it's
But, like,
legit.
it's his actual
It was a
kid.
legitimate match in
How
SummerSlam.
old is the kid?
He was like 9 at the time. And that was the most stupid
Wait, hang on, was
match.
the kid at the match?
Yeah, he was at the match.
So
he was
he
sitting.
probably thought it was for real. Like,
I don't know. He probably did. Yeah, he's like, oh
That's
man.
so
He's like,
fucking weird,
he's like,
man.
if Eddie wins, he could be my puppy. You know, like I don't know. But yeah, he was just like, it was insane. I remember, a custody match. I remember watching it as a little boy and like. It's like, are they allowed to do that, Dad? Like, are you allowed
Dad's
to
never
fight?
done this.
Why haven't you fought for me? You know, like I want to see you fight somebody in a ladder match.
Gav Dad versus
Hey,
Rey
Dad,
Mysterio.
can you fight John Cena in a ladder match? Like, is that allowed?
Oh man. Yeah, so that like I was trying to explain that. I don't know why I was trying to explain that because like it's but like how do you like so how do you watch wrestling in a universe where like UFC still like exists where it's like actual
Sometimes
fighting?
I like a bit of acting in my fighting.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
I
but
still
then-
love
but then you
UFC,
got,
man.
like,
I love UFC.
Yeah,
UFC
and
is
then you
great.
got Conor McGregor, who is basically like as ridiculous as a like pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And
I
like
fucking
all the
hate
shit
Conor
that
McGregor,
happens, like but it's like that storyline. There's always a storyline behind
Yeah,
these
yeah.
fights that sells it. But then it's actual physical.
You know what?
fighting.
It's funny. I don't like that part of UFC.
Really?
I think because I see it in wrestling, I think, come on,
Right.
man, this is childish. Like, wrestling's obviously family friendly. Like, it's
Yeah.
a childish show. It's PG, you know? And then you see all that these UFC fights acting like idiots. Like, just get in the octagon and punch the fuck out of each other. Like, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
It's
It
just
sells fights.
It
Though.
just has to kill each other, you know? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know why. And that's why I love, like, one of my favorite fighters, like Nate Diaz. He does
Yeah.
not take shit, you know? He's like, I'll fuck you up. you
Yeah,
know?
but he does ridiculous. Didn't you see him the other day? He was like smoking CBD
Yeah,
oil or whatever. Like
he
a joint
he did
on stage.
fucking
Like that's
in
as
his
ridiculous.
training or whatever
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. That's fucking funny.
That's as
I
ridiculous
mean, I
as
wouldn't
a
consider
pro
that
wrestler.
as a promo for a wrestler.
Oh, yeah, no, because
way.
it builds up his brand, and then people are like, I'm going to go watch
That's not
the
a
guy.
promo. That's just...
No, but that is who he is, but it's still like...
Yeah. I mean... Yeah.
It still sells tickets. Like, he knows
I
that's
think
going to sell
because
tickets.
I watch wrestling for that, I don't see that sort of stuff. I don't care about that stuff in UFC. When I watch UFC, I just watch it so I can finally get a real fight.
Yeah.
So, like, I watch wrestling
true.
during the week, and then on a Sunday, UFC, like tomorrow, I will be watching 241. And so I'll be like, fuck yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, I get into it.
But I kind of like the... like, because that's... All of us sort of watch sports for that. Like, not just for the technical sport side.
I think wrestling is the
story
only
behind
sport
it.
that people watch for the entertainment.
Yeah, strictly for the...
Yeah.
No, I watch it. Like, you know who my favorite tennis player is at the moment?
Mine's Nick Kyrgios.
Nick Kyrgios, yeah. Because he... Like,
I love Nick Kyrgios. I watched him at
pure entertainer.
the Cincinnati the other day. Fuck, that was great.
Yeah.
Swearing
He
at
is
the umpire.
He is hilarious.
Walking out of the court. It's like, this is great.
Yeah.
Whether he's winning or not, he's fucking good to watch.
I would pay money to go see him. Just like and just
You went and
try
watched him at the
agitate
Oz
him.
Open, didn't you? Did you watch him or did you watch?
No, we saw I can't remember. We saw some shit cunts. I don't know. It wasn't really a good like match, but like
I think Kyrgios would have been expensive to watch though.
yeah, and he would have been. I think he got knocked out like the second round or something.
Yeah,
that
but he was in Rod Laver, wasn't he? He was at the
Yeah.
centre court.
Oh no, yeah, because we were at. I think I went to like Margaret Court or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is so entertaining because
He's great to watch. He's so good to watch. And when he's winning, it's so funny.
Yeah.
When he like made the woman choose the match winning.
the
forehand or
point, and then
backhand.
hit it. But I want him to win a Grand Slam.
He's not going to win a Grand Slam anytime
No, he
soon.
won't. But it would be so great to see him win one, just to justify all the shit behavior that he does.
Oh yeah. He could win a Grand Slam.
He has the talent to win a Grand Slam.
He's beaten
But
the best
my
best four.
God,
in the
like,
last-
but just the implosion of the Australian sports
Yeah,
media,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would love to see, because there's something like I just hate. I have such a
he
love
gets
hate
ripped
relationship.
into by the media
Yeah,
so much.
and like he's a dumb like
he's an
kid.
Australian adult, like young
Yeah.
adult. He's like
But he's
early
pure-
20s Australian.
Yeah,
What do you expect he's going to do?
but I've heard that like people actually like the people on the tour actually like what he's doing, because like
It sells.
because he no like the other tennis players sort of like that he's sort of sticking it to like Djokovic and Nadal and stuff, because like
See, I remember
he just brings that element
Alexander
of,
Zverev
yeah
fucking hates that Federer's still going.
yeah
I
and
can't
it's,
stand that Federer's still. He said to him after he came second in the French Open, he's like, "Why are you still here?"
yeah, but like that's kind of on them too. Like they should have sort of like beaten them out by now.
Yeah. If there's the fact that Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer are still the
Still
top
on
three
top
is
is-
because
Yeah, it's the
No
next
one's-
generation sucks dick. Like
like what's his name, Tsitsipas or whatever.
Tsitsipas.
Tsitsipas, yeah,
I don't know.
Tsitsipas, Zverev, you know,
Yeah.
Kochin or whatever his last name is. All
Yeah.
these people coming in, they've taken too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So last thing we'll probably cover is Fringe show. You got a new Fringe show coming up?
I am. I'm doing a show called Yeah, That's a New Bit.
Great poster, by the way.
Yeah. This friend of mine actually
You
made the poster.
Outsourced it to
Yeah.
some child laborers in Asia or something.
Yeah,
right?
I asked some Asian kid.
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. So what's the concept of that? You're just going to be trying new bits.
So I wanted to do a solo, but I'm doing a solo in the comedy festival, and then like every festival next year I'm doing the solo. So I didn't want to do it in Melbourne, and I was like, I want to do a show still, and I was like, maybe I'll do half an hour of new stuff. And so what I'm going to do is, so for the last month up until the time of the show, every time I think of a new bit, I write it in like a notepad on my phone, the idea. And then, so the first show, I'll do half an hour of those jokes, half an hour's worth of those jokes. And then whatever doesn't work, I'll, substitute with another joke that I didn't do.
Yeah.
And so by the time I do the fourth one, I've now got half an hour of a show.
Yeah.
And then, then I just have to write another half hour, and then 2021 I've got myself another hour.
Yeah. I was trying to, I think I was talking to somebody this week about how you can't sit by and let a festival happen without having a show in it.
You got to do a show.
Yeah.
And I hate those people like, nah, just do spots. No, you got to do a show. Even if you're bombing at the Metropolitan or the Highlander or something like that, you know, like a venue away from the hub, you got to do a show.
Yeah.
Even if you're only getting mates, even if you're that act before us this year during the comedy festival.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
at least they're doing a show. You know, do a show, man. Don't just do spots.
I should probably thank all the people that actually did, because this is the first time I've done a podcast since Comedy Festival. Yeah, before that.
Yeah.
And we'd had a fairly successful run.
Yeah, we sold out 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 out of 6. And then the night that didn't sell out was one of my favorite shows. That was like a small intimate audience, and then
They were fun, man.
yeah, and they had that one girl that confessed to her entire friendship group that she enjoyed being choked.
Oh, yeah. So she said she loved being choked, and her boyfriend had no idea that she had this fetish. That was, and then like the night before, we had the people who met through that kite surfing business.
Oh yeah, I forgot
and
about
I
that.
went off for 10 minutes talking about their kite surfing cult.
Yeah.
Little.
See, I love that about like comedy. It's just you find out
There's some weird people
there's
out
some
from Gibby, man.
strange people,
There's some-
and then like they have no idea that their night's about to be ruined.
yeah, they probably went, let's go watch this comedy show.
Yeah.
Let's go see this 2 young talent.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, I met her in a kite surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about it. You know, they have
Yeah.
no idea that this, I'm going to pick on them for 10 minutes.
There's so many people that like have like weird fucking shit about their lives. That's hilarious that they've
Yeah.
never like had to explain out loud, and then
Yeah,
sometimes the
It
first time
sounds
they're
so
explaining
dumb.
shit,
like-
is in front of a room.
He probably
full
felt
of
proud that he
strangers.
fucking cucked her with a kite surfing fucking business. But then when he's like saying that, he's like, come to think of it, I'm actually a psycho. I wanted to turn that into a bit. I tried to write it, but I haven't actually sat down and wrote it. But I just, the whole concept that there's someone out there in Phillip Island who's luring women in, teaching them kite surfing, and then taking them on dates.
Yeah. Like that
And
is
it's multiple
such a
guys.
setup. Yeah.
Like there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
He said there's 4 of them, and the woman he was seeing at the time was his latest student.
Right.
And the other guys are still out there probably teaching women how to kite surf and going, hey, do you want to, have private lessons? And then they're going for lunch or whatever after. The fact that that's out there
That is
so funny.
that is a Me Too sort of power dynamic that he's
yeah.
abusing. Because like if she says no, next kite surfing lesson, he's just gonna take her
Like
out. She's drowning.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fact they're going to be like, what's that? You don't want to sleep with me? How about I just leave you here, bitch? How about you stay here? I'll swim.
Enjoy Cape Woolamai without me.
Yeah. How about you stay in the reefs of Phillip Island while I go sail back to the shore and pick up another person that's sailing past them? Yeah, it's crazy that that's out there.
Yeah. Anyway, man, I think we should probably wrap it up. But where can the people see your fringe show?
So September 18th to the 21st, I'm on at 9:30 at the Highlander Bar. Obviously, it's only a half-hour show. But if you go down and watch, there's like other acts before me, Jared Goundry, Tony Magnuson, and others. But yeah, so like if you plan the night at Highlander, you can watch consecutive shows. But yeah, 18th to the 21st. Yeah, that's a new
Isaac
bit.
Jones is doing a show at the Highlander.
6:30.
Yeah,
he's on at 6:30, but he's the week after.
Okay, yeah.
So my week is Gary Jahal, Jared Goundry. I'm pretty sure you'd have to check the guide, but yeah, those dates, that time.
Yeah. And then your Australia's Got Talent semi-final.
The next 2 weeks. Finals begin Monday.
Yeah.
But I haven't been told when I was one of the first to be filmed, but I don't know when it will be on.
Yeah, cool.
Just watch the show, please.
Yeah.
Get us that gold logie. Get us.
Follows and follow Gavin on Instagram and stuff. I'll put like little
Yeah.
things because it's a video format, so people can find all that shit.
So if I can just go like this, just like subscribe here at the camera. Or
No,
here.
it'll be
it's
a
not.
very
So that's
specific
pointless
spot.
now. So I just did that to no one.
you look like a fuckhead, but because I'm very anal about like my.
Oh, so if I do this,
stuff. So it'll be in this general area.
click
Yeah.
here.
Anyway, this is such a weird fucking way to end it, but
Yeah.
thanks
You're
for coming,
welcome.
man.
No worries,
Appreciate
man.
it.